Michael.
My bad.
That's okay. We'll keep going. I was going to ask you, Michael, whatever happened to No Limit Soldiers?
No Limit Soldiers?
You know, make you say, oh, Master P, oh, na.
I mean, I can look.
I mean, if you don't know off the top of your head, we don't want to go extensive Google search for Master P if he's still alive. I think he's still alive. In fact, I think I heard a story about him. No, see, I don't want to put anything on air, and then he's a guest years later, and then it could be the whole Birdman incident on The Breakfast Club. Right. You know that, the Birdman?
No.
The Breakfast Club. They apparently disrespected his name, Birdman, the rapper, and he comes on, and it's one of the funniest clips on YouTube, and he's like, you respect my name. You respect my name. I know I could have been gangsta on you, but you respect my name. And Charlemagne was just like, well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Something's on your mind. I already said what I got to say. Well, let's talk about it. Dude, funny saying. And then he walks out. So I don't want that to happen with Master P.
Master P apparently owns his own basketball league. Global Mixed Gender Basketball.
Global mixed gender. All the genders? Or just... Dead silence from Michael. He's like, I'm not getting involved in this conversation. Well, that's interesting. Good for him, Master P. In your mixed gender basketball league, I'm sure the stockholders are very happy with their investment.
Indeed.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have one of my favorite past guests on the show this week, Jonathan Lipnicki. You might recognize him from Jerry Maguire or Stuart Little, not Little Stuart, as I said on the show, like the most Little Stuart. You're on Little Stuart, right? You're the man with the mouse. He's such a great guy. We talked a little bit about his upcoming Food Network show that he will be on, which I'm very excited to watch, April 21st, Worst Cooks in America. Also, he just completed a short film with a very famous playwright. We talk all about that, as well as the darker side of the entertainment industry. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Jonathan Lipnicki. Our music.
Is that your, like, the Wesam music?
Oh, it is? Yeah, you like it?
I like it, dude. That's cool. Yeah.
I love watching every single guest that comes in here and listens to the music.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, this is nice.
Yeah, it's a full Wesam production now.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
We just need 20 more people, and I think we're good. No, I'm kidding. This is
An orchestra.
We were just talking about, and I'm actually more curious about this now because you're working with Tanya Harding, or you did work with Tanya Harding.
I worked with Tanya Harding.
Correct.
Yeah.
And this is nothing to do with ice skating.
Nothing to do with ice skating. It's a cooking competition show where they have like a regular version with people who aren't entertainment related. Just it's called Worst Cooks in America, and so I'm on Worst Cooks in America Celebrity Edition. Right. And so it's Tanya Harding, me, quite a few other people. Kim Whitley, if you know her, actress. Jim J. Bullock, Taryn Manning. If you know her, from like Hustle and Flow and Orange is the New Black.
Yeah.
It's a really great cast this year. And it was really fun.
Are you a bad cook?
I was. Now I've learned. I picked up a lot on the show.
Yeah.
You spend quite a bit of time cooking, so
they teach do trained professional chefs come in and teach you?
Yeah, you're split up into two teams, and there's two world-class chefs.
Right.
And so you're on one chef's team or another, and you take a lot of notes, and you learn a lot. It's a lot of cooking. And you know what I did when I came back? Is I just went straight back to cooking like when I got home because I loved it so much. I had such a great time.
Oh, that's so cool.
It was really, I mean, it's great to learn stuff. Just like, how you feel when you take on a role where you have to learn about something you don't know about. Mm-hmm. It's amazing to just be able to like have that opportunity to be taught by one of the best.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
So that was really cool. And also, the money goes to charity. So it's a really great whole thing. It was a fun time filming it.
When does it air?
April 21st.
April 21st on Food Network?
On Food Network, yes.
On Food Network. I think I get that. I don't know what I get anymore.
Who doesn't get Food Network?
I don't know, man.
Like I can't imagine they're like, you get HBO, but you don't get Food Network. Like I feel like everybody gets Food Network, right?
They should.
Yeah.
Well, the cable companies have do you have cable?
I do.
Okay. I don't even know what channels I have. Yeah. And the way they've batch them together has been the weirdest things of what you get and what you don't get.
I mean, that is true. Like, I use so much now Hulu, Amazon, Netflix, that I don't
Yeah.
spend all that much time on cable. But I do, I have noticed that it is kind of a weird collection of channels.
It's so bizarre to me. I was on Spotify a while ago, and it was like, "Oh, you get a Hulu account." I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
It's Spotify. How's this gonna? Okay, I get a Hulu account, and then with Hulu, you can get something else. What is it? Do you guys have Hulu?
I have Hulu.
What is that extra thing you can buy that's like live TV with Hulu?
Yeah.
Hulu
I mean,
Live.
most like those services are offering that. Like
Yeah.
YouTube does it. Personally have PlayStation View through
What's
my
that?
PS4. It's just cable.
Really?
$45 a month, and I get cable on my PlayStation.
That's crazy.
What? There's too many options.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard now. I don't know where to
know.
find the time because there's so much great television. I mean, it's like I get stuck on something and I have to watch all of it, or I get stuck in a certain mood. So right now, for me, I recently became, I'm like so many years late on this, a fan of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Okay.
And so that's been like my comfort food at home, and I I went and I saw Us last night, so I was a little scared. So I came home and I was like, gonna turn on some Andy Samberg and chill, But it's funny, like now I feel like I have to watch that whole thing. I have to like get it done, and enjoy, of course, at the same time. But there's so much good stuff, and I'm always so late on it. Like I was so late. Let's see, I think like my mom is kind of the one who always tells me, she'll be like, you should watch this or that. The one thing recently though that I told my mom to watch, which I'm sad it's gone, is The Punisher on Netflix.
He was so good in that.
So good.
He was so good. A spoiler alert. End of the first or second season where he smashes his head into the mirror.
Oh
and
yeah, the
grinds.
first season.
Oh, so satisfying.
It was really, it's yes, and also just a really great, like a great enjoyable series. I loved how dark it was. It was my favorite Marvel TV show because I liked how it was like so gritty.
Yeah, I like it when the hero, he's fighting a bunch of guys and he actually gets tired because he's fighting 12 guys.
Yeah. And I love that he's just a guy who's fighting off the power of the love of his family.
Yes.
I mean, that's his power. If you really think about it, it's like that he loves his family and would do anything for him and do anything,
Revenge, yeah.
I love it.
It consumes him.
It consumes him.
Consumes him.
But like that is the best person you could ever have play the Punisher, I really think.
Despite all his rage, he's still just a rat in a cage. You guys know that song?
Boo.
Oh, it's
It is a good song. though.
yeah.
He's just booming.
I did.
It's a great song.
It's a great song.
I remember listening to that for the first time in the 90s, I think. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is my type of music.
Yeah. Was it Smashing Pumpkins?
Yeah. Actually, they used that song in one of the trailers for like one of their new seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was also you know what I love that they used for a trailer was for Punisher was Alice in Chains. They have,
Yes.
that was so cool because I love Alice in Chains.
What are
And
you
so-
what are you listening to nowadays? Because you do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yes.
You're a brown belt.
Yes.
And you hurt your ankle, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. Because I want to talk about how you hurt it again.
Yeah.
But is there any like pump up music you do when you're driving to train?
It depends, man. Sometimes I'm just listening to like, a podcast or something.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm like, I need to get in the mood. Recently there's a song I love by Joyner Lucas that's been pumping me up.
Joyner Lucas. What kind of
Yeah.
music is that?
Rap.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was also recently seen on Eminem's Kamikaze album.
Okay. Oh,
Did
yes.
you listen to it?
I listened to it actually.
Okay,
and
so that song, why am I not thinking my coffee hasn't kicked in yet? That song, Lucky You.
Okay.
Joyner Lucas is the other guy in it.
All right.
Yeah,
Nice.
I just really like his flow and how he is. So I was like, it pumps me up. This song I Love by him has been really. But then it's so funny because then I'll switch to like something like I've been like listening to a little bit of Nada Surf, which
I
is
don't know what
like
that is.
they're like a pop rock band from like 90s,
Oh, cool.
and I would say in the same frame as like Third Eye Blind type of stuff.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like I just vacillate a lot, different things.
Yeah.
Different times, you know, I still go back. I'll listen to something like Alice in Chains. I love, you know,
Mm.
at heart, I think, you know, kind of a 90s grunge kid.
Okay.
I love like Stone Temple Pilots, you know, Alice in
Yeah.
Chains, Bush.
Bush.
Yeah.
That was good. That's a good band.
Yeah.
Glycerine.
Yeah.
Glycerine.
Glycerin.
Glycerine. It's
Yeah,
glycerine.
man.
We say.
Yeah. He says it differently than I say it, but I mean, that song makes me cry, man.
Dude, when, there was a live version he did where he's in the rain.
Yeah.
He's just him on the guitar.
So
And it's raining, and it's so 90s.
Yeah.
It's the MTV Spring Break thing.
Oh,
I think.
awesome.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about? That was like a thing.
Yeah.
They
Spring
did
Break,
it for 2 weeks out of May? No, March.
Yeah.
2 weeks in March, they would do MTV Spring Break, and it was
Yeah.
like just a constant party.
Yeah, I would see that, and I was like, man, I can't wait to be like a person who had spring break and
Yeah.
like a college student and go to MTV Spring Break, and then, you know.
I don't know what it
kinda
is,
like-
man. It
yeah.
never appealed to me. That kind of
It did when I was not the age. Like when I thought like, oh, this is what people do for spring break. I'm like, they're like cool and they go and they hang out by the beach. And then the funny thing is, I got to around that age, and obviously we talked about this before, but I decided to pursue acting instead of go to college, and I never felt like I hate going to like, you know, now and then even when I was like 21, 22, like I hate going to like beach parties and stuff. Like it's hot and like, you know.
Yeah, I want to talk with my friends and the people whenever I go out. I want to actually have a conversation with them. I don't know if it's an age thing or what it is, and I'm not bashing people who go out and do that. But for instance, my friend Isaiah, he had a birthday recently,
Yep.
and went out with him, a couple friends, and then we ended up going to we were downtown. We had a nice dinner. We're like, what do you guys want to do now? I was like, you want to go to this like kind of like bar? It's sometimes quiet, but it's probably going to be busy. They have like, what's it called? Cornhole and like
Okay.
shuffleboard stuff and darts. We're like, yeah, sure. We went there. The music was so loud. I sound like an old man. I don't care. But the music was very loud. And
But you're staying consistent. You've been like this since I met you. So
maybe, but
Yeah.
like I couldn't. We had to talk like this. Yeah, what? Yeah, it's good. Yeah, like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. And it just is like how that's just not enjoyable to me. I don't know, man. I might be weird.
No,
but
you're not at all. I mean, like,
Same.
I think, I'm
Yeah.
starting to value, like, conversations and dinners over going out way more. You know, I mean, I'll go out here and there, but I don't know. I just don't care so much about it anymore. I just would rather do something like go see a movie and then talk about it after, have a dinner and then see a
Yeah.
movie. You know, I think that it's fun, but it's like also, you know, you get I don't know, maybe I am getting old. I got over it. You know, I went, you know, and I'm a social person, but I went out, I would say a fair amount, like in my early 20s.
Yeah.
And like now I'll go out here and there, but then I'll like wake up the next day and be like, man, I didn't get that great of sleep. I'm kind of bummed out that I didn't, because now I don't feel like as enthused to do what I want to do today. And so I just,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't blame you on that. I really don't.
We
We sound so boring. Wow.
No, not at all. We're gonna tune out of the Instagram live. Thanks for watching,
Yeah.
guys. The full episode will be up in a couple of weeks, I believe, but we'll post all that stuff. So make sure you follow us. Make sure you follow Jonathan, and we love you. Is that true,
Yeah,
Jonathan?
we love you. We love you.
Maybe not Jonathan.
No. Lots of love for everybody. I'm a positive guy.
I think the youngest person in here is Peyton, if I'm not mistaken. And you're about to get married soon. Is this correct?
That is so true.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Are you have you ever been a clubber or like a big bar guy where like, you know, loud music, dancing? No? Okay. So,
Stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to, it seems, I'm kind of with you. I have big plans. I got a lot of stuff on my plate.
Yeah.
I'm busy. I feel better whenever I have an early start to my day.
Yeah.
I get stuff done.
Then
I don't-
it's not stressed. You know, I mean, if I ever, like yesterday, I slept in longer than I wanted to, and also being slower with my ankle right now, I just had stuff done that I didn't get done, and it really bugged me, and I've been so good about it. I'd say like there's been a constant set of changes the last few years, and I'm happier that way. Like, you know, I think that the problem is with social media and with how we think we should live our lives. Sometimes we get caught up in, man, am I boring? Am I stiff? And no, it's like whatever appeals to you, it should be what you do. You know.
Yeah.
And honestly, a good dinner. I love food, and good conversation appeals to me more than really going out and being like, what? Can't hear you. Awesome. Let's look like we're having a good time. Like one of my good friends. So when we were like 21, 22, we'd go to Vegas, here and there. And he wanted to go again now for his like 28th birthday. And I was like, count me out of this one. Because last time we went, I was just like, man, like, why am I here? I was like, I got Vegas out, I think, 21 through 23.
I think if I go back to Vegas, I want to see some shows.
It's so funny. I said the same thing. I was like, I'll go if we'd like see a show.
Yeah, I want to have I want to have nice dinners, and I want to see shows. And if I am going to gamble, I want to be with a couple close friends.
Yeah.
And we got a table to ourselves, and we're just having fun. It's
Exactly.
like we put a couple $100 down, and we're just playing for fun. Other than that, man, yeah.
But that's something I've always admired about you from afar. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I just always was like, like you're somebody who even though we're similar age, I've definitely looked up to you and been like, this guy has his stuff together, man. This guy is really a well-rounded human being.
Barely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I've always just been
Thank
impressed by you. Not just kissing your butt because I'm on your show right now. But I've just always been like, he's very interesting. He's well-read. Every time I hang out with him, I walk away learning something. I like hanging out with him.
I really, really appreciate that. That's very nice of you to say. And it goes to you. I'm kind of jealous of all your Brazilian jiu-jitsu knowledge, which I will.
Dude, it's like anything. It's 12 years now doing it.
Wow. Just don't pop my ankle.
Yeah.
This week, whenever we go to the park.
Exactly. Yeah. I'll be like, this is how I hurt myself. Yeah.
No, I am very, very interested. Actually, I was looking at 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu just down the road.
Good, yeah.
And also the Machado School, which is a little far from me. It's in Encinos, I believe, somewhere way
I've
west.
trained at Machado, so my studio closed when I got my brown belt.
Right.
So I went and I did a class there. One of my good friends trains there. And great instruction, great people, really nice.
Yeah.
Just really, really nice atmosphere.
Oh, that's something I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Do you think it's worth the drive?
I think it's a great place.
Okay.
I think that it's all about what vibe you're going for. I think that they're very old school in the respect that they're very respectful people there.
Good.
I was
I
like a new
that.
guy coming in, and everyone was pretty cool, no ego.
Great.
And then I could talk to one of my good friends goes there, and I'll point
Yeah,
you in
please.
the right direction.
Yeah.
And then you can come also just check out if you ever want to. I train at this place called Saxon Academy in it's off like White Oak and Van Nuys.
Okay.
Not White Oak and Van Nuys. White Oak and Van
Owen?
Not Van Nuys. Sherman Way. Sorry.
Sherman Way. Okay, yeah.
And wow, need more of this coffee. Yeah, we just moved to that facility, and it's great. They have Muay Thai, wrestling, jiu-jitsu.
Ooh, nice.
Really good if you want to be a fighter, and really good if you don't want to be a fighter.
Yeah.
There are people there who are just trying to be in shape, and there are people there who are in the UFC.
That's awesome.
So,
I like going to dojos with that no ego respect because it's all like a learning ground. And
Exactly.
that is something that one of my number one things I'm looking for in a school because first and foremost, I'm a working actor.
Yeah.
And I can't do anything that will compromise that.
Exactly.
Because I have larger goals and aspirations to
Exactly.
deal with that. And so everything else I do has to funnel into that and
Exactly.
feed off each other.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to a class and we've got a crazy guy who wants to show off how good he is
Yeah.
and just snapping elbows and
Yeah, I mean, usually it's not that. I mean, I'd honestly say, and they always say, it's kind of like a saying for, I think a lot of different martial arts, but especially for jiu-jitsu, like you're more likely to get hurt by a white belt.
I've heard every single person has said that to me.
Because, I mean, in my case, but I was having a really competitive match with my coach, and that's
Right.
how my thing happened. But
that's
also,
different,
I
though.
was like, I'm not working currently, so I was just going all out.
Yeah.
And I'm really competitive. He's really competitive, and I'm trying to get to that next level. I want to get my black belt. So I've just been training really hard. But it's people that know their own technique and strength, and that aren't trying to kill you. That you're not going to get hurt by. I mean, my mom did jiu-jitsu actually for a while.
Wow.
And she got hurt twice really badly. One was she tore her knee, and then also her elbow. Both times were white belts. It wasn't some advanced dude. Because usually advanced people with jiu-jitsu just know how to flow.
Yeah.
And be like, you're making a mistake there. Keep your arm in. No, I'm going to catch you right here, so you don't want to do that. Because you don't have to prove anything against the dude who just came in.
Exactly.
Like, I don't want to tap the dude 100 times who just came in. I'll let him start, like, on top and side control, whatever, to just be like, hey, so, okay, you're moving wrong here. You don't want to do that, and just kind of go through it with them. Because what do you have to prove by just beating someone who's not as good as you or new or...
Exactly,
Yeah.
man.
I mean, the only way that should ever happen is if somebody comes in who's new and they're trying to, like, hurt people. Then, obviously there's, like, a hierarchy.
Right.
And, with martial arts, and sometimes there's, going to be a dude who kind of regulates that.
See, for me, again, I want to learn it.
Yeah.
Also, another arsenal in my tools if I need to defend myself.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I know how at least to do a few things on the ground if it
Yeah,
goes
or
there.
even just get up, I mean,
Right.
there's a lot of great things to just know about overhooking an arm when someone's on top of you, pushing their head down and getting back up,
Oh, yeah.
Because I mean, I love jiu-jitsu and I think it's very, very good. But, a lot of situations you don't want to be on the ground. If someone has friends that can come kick you in the
Exactly.
head, you don't want to be on the ground, but it's great to know it for defensive purposes. It's awesome. It's great because you can subdue people without, like, punching them in the face.
Right.
And I think that's great for, like, let's say some drunk guy, is trying to fight you and you just, like, hold them on the ground or, like, stop.
Exactly.
And I think that's what would be great. I wish all cops would do jiu-jitsu because then I feel like it could prevent a lot of brutal force.
I would assume that's part of their training, no?
I don't think they do. I don't think all cops do it.
Okay.
And because, I mean, just looking at what I've seen on videos, I think it would be so good. I mean, there are definitely a fair amount of cops I've trained with. But I think it's such a good thing for, like, security, for cops.
Yeah.
Because it's like you can subdue someone without hurting them really, really badly.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you can also hurt someone really badly, but you could get to the point where you just subdue them and you're like,
Right.
you have the right to remain silent. I mean, that's what I say when I tap everyone out. I have the right to remain silent. But it's, I think it's such a great art. And it's also cerebral, which I love. It's chess. It's physical chess.
How old are you now?
I'm 28 years old.
28 years old. I will echo this compliment you gave me. You have an extremely good head on your shoulders as well. And it's a rarity, and I believe I'd mentioned this to you on my previous podcast, Actors Anonymous, for young actors who start in the business young to kind of have a healthy mindset in their later years due to the stresses and the nature of the business as a young actor. When did you start acting?
5 years old. Well, technically, I was 4 3/4. So my first acting class. Yeah, out here in I'm from Westlake Village. I took a class in Agora Hills.
Yeah.
And it was just something I was doing because, like, my sibling, my older sibling, my sister, it's like sometimes you want to do what the older sibling's doing, and I want to try this acting thing, and I loved it, and I still do. And I think that's the key, is loving something and being able to not get bitter ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I have great years, and then I have years that are not so great on the working front. But I'm not going to call it a bad year. I'm still going to enjoy my life and have a year full of growth. There's a lot of stuff you can't control, and that's what I love about having something in my life like martial arts, where I go and I show up and I get better and I get promoted, and it's a tangible thing. Whereas, like, this, like, you could be killing it going to acting class and really just learning everything that you feel that you need to know, and you're improving constantly. You're having this huge growth as an artist, but maybe the opportunities aren't coming. Or I remember for you went through, like, a little series of, like, you were so close on everything you were going on for a little while, and I was like, damn, that guy's, like, so close on everything he's going on.
I remember that year very specifically, 2016.
Yeah, and I think we had coffee at Coffee Bean, and we talked about this, and I remember you being like, yeah, I tested for this, and it was like, that sucks because, like, there's no prize for second place, but that you have that inner momentum where you're like, I'm getting this close, and you can either go one or two ways with it. I've seen actors like you who just continue on the path. They're like, I'm doing something right to be getting this far, and you continue reading, you continue, exploring the world, continue going to acting class, continue working your butt off, or people get discouraged.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the worst place to get discouraged, when you're getting that close. Because you have to think about how many people are going out for the role for you to get to testing on something.
Right.
And I think that's the key, is just not getting bitter, which you know very well, I feel like. And it's so easy.
It is. It was more of a Punisher mentality. It was it was just I was tired of getting ignored. I've mentioned this a few times on the show, but it was this quote that was Steve Martin. Now that's one of our guests told me that I remember finally. Get so good they can't ignore you anymore.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's what I'm going to do then. So the whole reason I brought this up though. Are we good on time? We need a clock. We have a clock, and I never use it. We're good on the
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay. You started off very young in the business, and people will recognize you from your early work as Jerry Maguire from Jerry Maguire and Little Stewart. And am I forgetting? There's something else I'm forgetting. There's a bunch
It's
of
called
stuff.
Stuart Little, bro.
Stuart-
It's not called Little Stewart.
That's the foreign version.
Stuart, Little Stewart is the rapper version.
That's the foreign.
Little Stewart's a rapper.
Little Stewart.
Lil. Yeah, a Little Vampire. You know, I did a little stint on Dawson's Creek.
Yes. Okay.
Got to work a lot. You know, on 5 to like 12, I worked mostly, and then I kind of just went to public school.
Yeah.
Did that whole thing.
Have you ever experienced something, or experienced the more darker or basically the darker side of the business where you're like, whoa, I need to stay away from this?
Yes. I think speaking of young actors, like, you know, sometimes, you know, I've gone out and I've hung out with people who are like cool people, you know,
Yeah.
like hip, and I feel like sometimes there's a lot of danger in like the fact is. I think the most dangerous thing about LA for actors is you can go hang out with people who are doing way better than you and feel like you're also kind of part of the success because you're like, I'm out with all these actors, you know,
Yeah.
and it's that trap, but the difference is, you know, they're working and you're not. And I think that there's a lot of, you know, people who love to burn the candle on both ends, you know, who love to go out crazy, and also they're doing well work-wise, but that's not sustainable, and I realize, like, that's not something kind of I want to be, you know, really involved with, and I felt like, you know, when I was starting to, not like I ever went through a hard partying phase, but, you know, I've gone through phases where I went more than others, and just realizing, like, groups of friends. Who's really your friend and who's, like, a social friend? And I think that's, through social friends, I've seen stuff that, like, where I'm like, I don't want to be, you know.
Right.
This is not, I remember sitting, this is so crazy, but I went to an after party. This is so stupid, and it's going to sound, I apologize for this. I went to an after party once, like after, it was like St. Patrick's Day 2015 or something. And it was like, someone's like, come to this after party at this mansion. And I was at this mansion, and there's all this great, like, artwork, and people there were just, like, out of their minds, just, you know, messed up. And I was like,
Drugs,
man,
alcohol,
yeah, and I was
yeah.
like, man, I could be the person going to an after party at someone's really cool house, or maybe I could just put my head down and have my own really cool house one day. And I thought that in the moment. I thought that in the moment. I was like, man, I just don't want to, like, this isn't me. I've never been the type of person that, like, I'll have a fun time, and I'm not, you know, stiff, and I'll go out and have fun with my friends, but, like, this is not necessarily where I want to be. There's no reason for me to be out this late.
I love how it's not, man, I don't need to be doing drugs or drinking
Yeah.
this much. I don't need to be staying out
Yeah.
this late.
Well,
That's the
definitely,
real issue.
yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I was definitely tipsy, but I don't. Yeah, like and also like for me, I just less and less with just drinking. I feel like it's just a fact. Even having a few drinks, my sleep isn't as good, and sleep is so precious, and having a great, fulfilling next day is so precious. And with my anxiety, I talked to you about this. I struggle a lot with anxiety. Drinking's not good for me. So I'm like, you know what? I'd rather have a day where, like, I go and I hang out with good friends. I see a movie or something. I go to bed. I wake up with zero anxiety.
Yeah.
You know, especially, like, drinking can do the weird thing where, like, and I know so many people have this in common, but not enough people talk about it. Irrational kind of anxiety when you wake up from just the chemicals, you know, mixing wrong.
I appreciate you sharing all that. And actually, I want to get it even more into that stuff and maybe red flags for people to notice.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about more right after our little break.
Yeah.
We'll be right back, guys. We're good. We're back.
Here, yeah.
I was checking my phone.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's right.
So rude. So disrespectful.
No, it's all right. It's fine, dude.
As you were growing up, as a young actor, was there any like red flags that would come up that you could help warn people who are maybe teens or young adults in this industry from, like, let's say there's a red flag from a producer, a casting director, an agent, other actors, are there any specific stories you can help share, you're comfortable sharing with, to kind of help these young artists make sure they don't fall into these traps and ruin their lives?
Well, it depends on how young, because if young, you're not on your own yet, then I have to say parents listening or anyone,
Let's start there. Let's start there.
Parenting is so important. I mean, it's so hard because there's that whole, and I was talking to one of my friends recently about that. There's that whole stigma of like child actors and drugs and whatever. And I know so many child actors who either are still doing it and are just successful human beings that don't have drug problems, and so many that aren't acting and chose a different path in life and very successful people. And I know so many people who have nothing to do with the industry who have had substance abuse issues. So it's hard with that stigma. People immediately think, oh, like my kid's doomed or whatever. But it's all parenting, because kids are clay. They're these balls of fun, cute, creative energy, and it's about how life molds them, and parents are very important. I had really great my parents are still around. I have really great parents. Thank God, man. Love you guys. I have great parents, and they were always looking out for me. And I think that
that's lucky.
When it's at that age, I know the kids don't have that much, I mean, you can't help who your parents are, but parents listening, if any parents listen, you're important. You are so important. You got to fight for your kid, whether it's making sure they get enough of their school time in on set. It really comes down to the parents at a certain age, because kids, like, they're kids.
Right.
I mean, they learn about things around them, but parents really need to be diligent in, making sure their kids aren't little monsters, and also being parents and not being buddies with your kid.
Right.
I think that's, the worst thing. My parents were very much still parents. They're very, very, very strict on certain things. Like, I had to be, a good kid. Mm-hmm. And I think that, as funny and simple as it sounds, I think a lot of people just think, oh, well, since they followed this path in life, they get them a little too much leeway for someone who's like 12 years old. Mm-hmm. I think it's all about having involved parents. Then when you get a little older with teens and getting older, when you're more on your own, after 18, to keep a good head on your shoulders, I think it's just make sure you have some like really good friends in your corner.
Yeah.
It's hard because you think a lot of people are your friends, and then you have to learn the hard way sometimes. And I think that's part of life in general. But also, just if I could tell my younger self something, it would be to be more cognizant of that.
That's a great point. I want to kind of zone in on that, the friends aspect.
Yeah.
I had a friend a long time ago. I told her, hey, your roommate, they just complain. I've never heard them say a positive thing.
Yeah.
And she goes, no, come on. I'm like, check out for that. Next time you, like, really tune in for the next, like, week or two and listen to her. Everything that comes out of her mouth is something really negative. And if you try to switch the conversation to something positive, it goes back to her complaints.
That's exhausting.
It is exhausting.
Yes, yeah.
And she was like, oh, my God. After 2 weeks, she was like, you are right. And then from that point on, they started to drift apart. And did I break up the friendship? Yes.
Wow.
Yes. But
Sam the friendship killer.
That's what I do, guys. No. But do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Because let's say you've already had this relationship with somebody and you just, oh, that person's just like that.
Yeah.
That person is just like this. Somebody told me once, oh man, Wesam, you don't have any asshole friends. Yeah. And I was like, well, of course not. I thought that was the silliest, they're like, but no, seriously, you don't have any friends that are like assholes or jerks. All your friends are like really motivated, good-hearted people who, like, I'm like, yeah, of course. Why would I surround myself with people not like that? And it's hard, though, whenever you've already developed a friendship with somebody at a young age, you don't have that sense of awareness. So I think some of the red flags are like, okay, kind of keep an eye out on their like vocabulary, on what they talk about. What's their lifestyle like?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's people who drink and go out is bad, but there's a balance to life. If they're living for the weekend every weekend, that's not a good lifestyle choice.
Exactly.
It's plain and simple.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with going out. And like I know I sound so boring, like I never do. I went out 2 nights ago. I still will go out here and there with my friends, and you know what? I'll have a great time. But at the same time, I'm just realizing, for me personally, it's starting to be something definitely, the last few years where I've just been doing it way less. Because just for me, I just get exhausted with that, and not being able to have my full next day. But, there's nothing wrong with it as long as you're balancing it, and everybody's body chemistry is different. Mine, not reacting to, drinking super well.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But some other people, they bounce back, and if they're, in moderation, they're fine, and they can balance like a work life and that. As long as you're not burning the candle on both ends, because that's not sustainable at all.
Yeah.
But also, that is so important. I think we talked about this when we had coffee last time, was I think I was telling you I was dodging negative actors during pilot season. I think how I framed it, because dude, even my positive friends, it's a weird pilot season and not many opportunities. I'm like, I can't have that energy around me.
Yeah.
The right opportunities will happen. If you're around people who are like, gee, I wish all the time, that's really annoying.
Yeah.
You got to believe, if you want to do something in life that a lot of other people want, you got to be willing to do things other people aren't willing to do. That means staying in and studying your lines sometimes, even if even if there's something more exciting to do, technically more exciting or something, all your friends are going to a certain event or whatever. You got to be really diligent about that. And you also have to be diligent about who you surround yourself with.
100%.
It's you can't have people always being like, oh, if I try to not have the word if in my vocabulary has been a big thing for me. I say when. I want something when it happens.
I like that.
Will it happen tomorrow? Maybe not, maybe. Who knows in our world, but just having little changes like that, or telling my friends when they're being negative and being like, hey, because a lot of people are normally positive people, but pilot season can turn a lot of people bitter and negative. I feel like stuff like that, where I was like, hey, it's fine. Even if this is a light pilot season, it's not the end all be all. Chill out. Focus on yourself. Go get a hobby. That's why, I martial arts. For a long time, my therapist actually retired, sadly. But I was going to therapy. I was doing martial arts, and I had this nice flow, learning, doing stuff, going to acting class every week. Can't be around that negativity.
You can't.
You'll never succeed.
As you got older,
Yeah.
have you? And this is more. I mean, you had good parents, and that's a huge blessing on your end.
Yeah.
Did you ever encounter something even really sketchy, growing up, or where you felt like some actors they get approached by producers or somebody who's maybe has very ill intentions, I don't mean to get too personal,
Yeah.
but I'm just, the reason I'm bringing it
Yeah.
up is because I'm trying to make sure other actors know the red flags if
Yeah.
they encounter them, or other
yeah.
artists, or not even in our industry, in all walks of life this happens.
Not even not really for me, producers or anything.
Yeah.
I got really lucky. I had some really great. I say that, and I that's no help to you guys listening. I'm so sorry about the putting it on the parents, but I really do think that's an important thing. Also,
Yeah.
just don't, if you are, you still have a mind to think for your own, don't be a brat.
Yeah.
Be self-aware and be grateful for everything you do get, because it is a hard industry. Mine's been more interactions with adults who were not in the industry. For instance, I've had some weird fan interactions where on one particular set they found some people who were trying to hang around my trailer who were registered sex offenders.
Whoa. Okay.
So
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was, if you really want to get dark on that one,
Yeah.
so I had to have a security guard for the rest of filming on one of my movies.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was probably the weirdest thing. So you got to be.
How did
just
they know
aware.
they just saw a sketchy dude and was like, whoa? Or
So,
I assumed it was a
so
dude.
I don't know if I remember this correctly, but I think it was one of the Teamsters, one of the drivers, was a former cop, and he recognized either. this
Oh,
certain-
wow.
I forget how it exactly went down.
Okay.
And I feel even weird telling this, so sorry.
Oh,
but,
that's good.
but yeah, I'm trying to be kind of vague on it. But at the same time, it's just being aware of your surroundings, being aware of certain adults.
Yes.
I think also parents don't let your kids alone with adults, who aren't super close, or you don't know them super well. That's weird. I've always thought. I see that a lot of there's people who, will come off and be like, oh, this person's just mentoring. You got to be vet the people who hang out with your kids. Come on, I think that's
100%.
really important. Also, if you're a teen, vet the people you hang out with who are older than you, because if something is a little weird, there's a good possibility it could be very, very weird, especially if you're like 15, 16 and there's people want to hang out with you who are way, way older. Man, be careful. You've got to be very self-aware.
I think there's a difference between, right, 15 or 16. That's a lot of people get, what's it called? That stardom, like, oh my gosh, this guy's super famous. You know, it's the whole like the Michael Jackson thing where those parents were like, holy crap, it's Michael Jackson. Yeah, of course you can.
You abandon all your what you're supposed to freaking do as a parent.
Dude,
somebody protect your kid.
Somebody was telling me, like, you should watch this. You should watch the documentary. And I'm like, give me the Cliff Notes. I'm not watching 4 hours of.
It's terrifying.
It is terrifying. It makes me sick to my stomach. And again, it goes back to the parents. Yeah. It's like, are you out of your?
Yeah.
Are you out of your mind?
Yeah.
My best friend, if he had a kid, and I was like, hey, can I take your kid out for ice cream? He would be like, why can't I go along?
Yeah.
What are you doing, man?
Like, why do you just want to hang out with my kid?
Yeah.
I think it's just, I think that's, it goes into just being very, whether you're at the age where its parents are overseeing all your stuff, if you're more on your own. Like, I know a lot of kids who are, like, doing things on their own so young, and I think that's bad, too. I mean, be a parent as if your kid was never chasing this dream. You're still, like, be a parent who was supposed to be around into, like, if your kid wasn't an actor, had, certain ability to do certain things or go to certain places or they shouldn't be running around LA, kids who are, like, under 18 in general. And I really believe that, and I had my parents were very cool about a lot of things, but they're very strict about stuff like that. I was never a kid who was going into Hollywood in my teens. I was like hanging out with my friends in Agora, I don't know, man. It's weird because I say this and I feel like I'm not giving you enough.
No, you are. No, we've hit the main points though.
I think self-aware, man. Don't be careful about the people you hang out with. I think that's it. And then also parents look for signs of weird things. My mom was really good. She went with me filming most of my stuff, and when this particular thing happened where I had to have like a bodyguard for the rest of the shoot, even the way in which she broke it to me was really, hats off to my mom. She stayed calm through the whole thing.
What's your mom's name?
Rhonda.
Rhonda? Shout out to Rhonda.
Rhonda's doing well. Rhonda's happy. Congratulations on your new Jeep Cherokee, Rhonda. She just got a new car.
Rhonda? Good choice. What color?
She was so excited. She posted it on Instagram. She got it's a Stingray Gray. It's really cute. She was so happy.
What's the license plate number? No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
It's the dealer plates right now. It's a new car.
Okay, man. All right. No, you are extremely lucky to have great parents, and the stuff that you hit upon, the self-awareness, your environmental awareness is super key as well, especially if you don't, you're 18 and above, you don't have the parents hanging around you anymore. Some things you kind of have to learn the hard way, but there's lots of red flags, man. Yeah, don't go to a casting director's house after night, or or period, or a producer's house. Like, why are you going to their house?
Unless it's someone who's like literally like you worked with them already, and you're just them very, 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 very well. Yeah, there's just got to be a lot of vetting. I think it's because a lot of, the sad thing with things like like the entertainment industry is there are, a lot of people who prey on people's dreams. And we saw that, a lot last year with, was it last year was really when the Me Too movement really started hitting. You saw that a lot. It's sad, but there's so many people there who prey on people's dreams and use whatever advantage they have over them, and that's so disgusting and sad.
Oh, dude, it's prevalent in this industry. It was prevalent. Hopefully, it's dying down. It's gone.
Yeah, sadly, it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a continued effort. But I think that was a huge opening and a great way to start really vetting people and vetting who we let be in charge of things.
I have a friend, and she submits herself on Actors Access, and she's a woman in her 20s. Mm-hmm. She's like, a lot of these things are all like require full nudity. Yeah. Like full frontal nudity. It's like, what is going on, guys? Yeah. Like, and it's just like these like independent, like they want to make a short film or whatever. And it's like, dude, I hope I don't know. Well, what I'm trying to say is there's predators out there. Just be careful.
You know, and I even challenge you to talk to a woman in this industry who hasn't had a weird experience.
Yeah.
I feel like every actress I know has had something totally wrong happen at least once, or they've avoided something totally wrong, or sadly they've had something totally wrong actually happen, or many totally wrong, or many weird things, and it's sad. But you just got to be careful. I mean, in life in general, but I guess friends. I don't know. How would I break this down? Friends you hang out with, self-awareness of, you know, just how you're coming off and what you're doing, as far as like you don't want to, like, away from the negativity of others, you don't want to come off as a bad person. So just being aware of yourself and not ever getting too bitter, being a positive person, and then with the stuff about hanging out with other people, who you hang out with,
absolutely,
especially if they're, you know, older and you're a younger person.
And look
always
at the
just be
intentions.
careful.
You know, like
Be
intentions. Like, why is this person contacting me?
Yeah.
Why is this person doing this stuff? Like, ask yourself those questions. I think that helps too.
Yeah, and then if you do have anything you're ever feeling weird about, I think it's always like, you know, buddy system. You know, go with a friend or have someone know where you're going at all times. I mean, because there's a lot of times that like someone will want to meet for coffee for like something creative, and it very much could be that something creative, but also just be careful. I don't, you know, I never want to give wrong advice here. So
no, I think you've given the right
just
given
be
the right
very
stuff.
careful, man. It's as much as I'm not bitter. I still love acting, and that's because I found ways to fall in love with it. Like I think we talked about even last time I got coffee with you. Is you got to find ways to fall in love with what you're doing on the positive spectrum of all this craziness. You got to, you know, like I fell in love again with self-tapes.
Yeah.
I love them, man.
That's great.
Play. I have a great time. I fell in love with auditioning again. Because people are too mad about, like, bitter, like, dodging negative actors all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, like, I have this, but I'm not really into it. I walked into a pilot audition this year, and this is example of how not to be. So I'm walking into this great opportunity for anybody, and I'm walking into my audition, and there's a girl who's walking to the same building, and she is auditioning for the role opposite me. You know, we play a couple in it. And I go, oh, hey, how you doing? I'm good, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, yeah, are you excited for this? I'm like, yeah, like, you know, it's a fun opportunity. And she goes, well, really? I just really like, it's not my thing. It's multicam, and, like, it's not really that great. And, like, da-da-da-da. And I find this, like the script, I just found it like this or that. And I'm just negative, complaining about it. I'm like, why are you here?
Dude.
Like, that is a big pet peeve for me. Don't knock the thing you're going to go read on.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Is she a working actor, or did she look new? Or you don't know? If you don't know, that's
I don't
fine.
know. I don't know.
Here's the thing with that to me is really interesting.
Yeah.
Because if she's not, I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
you can't be picky. That's something I tell like early on actors.
Yeah.
If you want to be an actor in LA, you can't be picky. Sorry,
yeah.
Oh, you have a wide range? Great.
Yeah.
What can we sell you as right now? What is your archetypical character if a stranger looked at you?
Yeah.
That's part of the business, man.
Yeah.
You got to remember, it's a business as well. That drives me up a wall, dude. what
That
you
made me
just described.
so angry because you know what? You know how many amazing, talented, driven actresses I have in my acting class who have trouble getting an agent? Who have trouble even getting to the point where they're getting an audition?
Next time, I'm making a promise. We're making a pinky promise on air. Next time somebody says that in an audition, just go, oh, why are you here then?
Yeah.
Oh.
Cool. I'm doing it.
Why don't you make your own TV show?
It just bugs me so much because we're lucky for opportunities we get, and you have to be willing to, you know, be optimistic about everything. And I went into it, man. I'm listening to like, do you know that song "Win" by J-Rock? It's like, you
gotta sing it
Get
now.
out the way, get out the way, yeah. Like,
I don't know that
it's
song.
like so happy. I'm like listening to that, like bopping down, like walking on the lot, like, because I love 23 years in, and I'm giddy to go to auditions because I get to go play. And it was a new casting director I hadn't met before. It was a new great relationship after that. I went in there. He was like, man, I can't believe we hadn't met before. And I was like, same. I really admire your work. And we now that dude it's an open door. Whereas like, I don't know what she, I don't think she probably went in there saying that, but you can feel that energy. If someone's like, man, I'm here on a Saturday.
Yeah. Because
sometimes they have those Saturday pilot auditions during pilot season, and she was just complaining, it's a multicam, and I don't like multicam, and
Yeah.
And it's like, you would be so lucky if you. And it was a show that was already picked up for a season. Like straight off the bat, it was pre-picked up. And I'm like, this is already a built-in season. You are so lucky.
Dude, I'll take that paycheck.
Yeah, I'll take also the opportunity. I mean, it was like good people to work with. It was. I thought it was pretty funny actually.
Peyton's like that. He's always like, no multicam.
Always.
Always.
Yeah.
I just hate it.
Yeah.
That's it. The worst.
But like Michael's like, I love multicam.
Yeah.
So they're always fighting with each
I
other.
was fighting over
Actually,
multi-
you wouldn't believe it, but it's actually the opposite. And actually in real life, probably. Actually, I don't know. I don't know what your
We're doing
feelings are.
multicam right now.
Actually, Michael's a liar. So, real quick, I want to make sure I hit this before I
Yeah.
forget. Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
Do you know him?
I do not know him.
Okay. Did you hear his Joe Rogan interview?
I did not. That's one I need to.
It's nice.
Yeah.
I was hoping he would ask some more hard-hitting questions,
Yeah.
especially him being a young actor and the stuff that he
Yeah.
went through, which was some pretty dark stuff. And
Yeah.
you got to see a lot of the darker stuff of the industry. And yeah, I was just curious if you had seen that because he kind of had the opposite experience with his parents than you did.
Yeah, he you know, and publicly, you know, I mean, and that's, you know, unfortunate. And I mean, I feel like he's doing pretty well now as far as like, it just seemed like all right. Like, you know, he has this podcast and I want to root for people like that.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I
I
hope
just,
he's doing
I wanted to know more about that. That's the thing,
so
because I
you wanna
think
hear
it's...
the funniest thing though. The darker stuff for me came more when I was out on my own after 18. I like
So
witnessed
interesting.
more dark, weird stuff. Not at the height of childhood popularity, because my parents were so good and they were like always there.
Yeah.
I, you know, saw some things here and there that now I look back on, I'm like, oh, that's kind of messed up of someone to do. But I was very lucky, man. I have to say, like, hats off to my parents again. If there was something the least bit sketchy, my parents were steering me away from that. The more sketchy stuff I saw was once I had to be on my own.
Can you reflect on any of that?
Yeah,
or-
you know, I've been groped before at you know, certain industry. Like I went to an industry-ish party and like that happened, and that was like one of my first times going out since I moved out on my own with friends. And I just had to remove myself from the situation. I didn't know what to do. I was in front of a bunch of people, and like there's, you know, I got grabbed by an individual, and I was like, you know what, I didn't know what to do. I'm not gonna make a big deal of it. I don't know who's friends with who here, and I just left. I just left. So I've had stuff like that happen, or uncomfortable being, you know, hit on before, you know, in professional situations. That's definitely happened more since I've been an adult. It's happened since I've been an adult. Not more since I've been an adult. You know, and
Yeah, I
that's
gotcha. Yeah,
that's you know, because I had kind of how my parents raised me, I've been able to have a pretty good bullshit monitor, but at the same time I'm a nice person. My problem is, and I would say this to anyone, I've been too accessible before. Where I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll hang out with you. Yeah, sure. Be careful. Play it slow. Chill out. Make sure people are cool before you hang out with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen weird stuff, and not even so much necessarily that happened to me. And I'm trying to think of what to share and what
Well,
not to
no,
publicly.
I appreciate you even sharing as much as you did.
Yeah.
And again, I like to hear this stuff
Yeah.
because it makes me more aware
Yeah.
of like, oh, next time I go to an industry event, how would I handle
Yeah,
that?
I
How
was
did
like
this
19
person
too, so I was just scared, man. I was scared
dude,
of like
who wouldn't be
I was
scared?
scared of like, and I think even now it's like, yeah, I would be like, but I was scared of like, what do you do in that situation where you're like, I can't like yell at this person out loud because what if that hurts my career if they're friends with everyone here or something? Like, you know, you get really in your head about it. Where I was just like, and I left.
Yeah.
I was like, no, yeah, I mean,
Damn, dude.
yeah, it was. You feel powerless. And
Yeah.
I can't even imagine. I feel guilty ever saying stuff like this because I'm dealing with 1/18,000th of what most women I know deal
Yeah.
with. And my little bit of experience is nothing compared to what they deal with on a daily basis in this industry.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Because just because it happened to you, it doesn't mean it was insignificant just because
Yeah.
you're a guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It still has that effect on you.
Yeah, I just never want
at
to
the
be
time.
like I want to keep it in perspective is what I'm saying. Is like it gave me a little like that small taste. I don't know how all the women I've talked to handle the stuff they've been through.
Right,
'Cause mine
right.
was, I'm just saying in that perspective.
I hate to. I totally understand. I hate.
Yeah.
Comparing one sexual assault to another sexual assault.
Exactly.
It's just
I
like,
yeah, I don't wanna
whoa,
be
guys.
Like, my problems are, but you know,
You're
woe
not
is me.
doing
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
not doing that. But I don't want what happened to you to be like thrown away or whatever.
Yeah.
Because hey, man, if I was 19 and I was in your shoes, what would 19-year-old Wesam do? I don't know.
Exactly. And when people have been drinking and doing you know things, doing drugs, people let certain things slip and say things to you that are
Right.
just so inappropriate. More than anything, I've gotten myself out of situations that I started to see were very inappropriate. But yeah, it's fun. It's not funny. It's just weird that people assume that like, oh, you must have seen all this crazy crap as a kid. Yes and no. Yes, for the fact that people will be crazy. It's this crazy industry. But like I said, like my parents were awesome at steering me
Yeah.
away from anything, you know. And I'm the first to say like most of my trial and error as being in it, you know, as a being in this industry have been like since I was 18, because you know you go out on your own and you're gonna make mistakes hanging out with certain people and being like I don't want to hang out with that person because they're either negative or they're creepy or
Why'd you
they're
point
weird
at
or-
me?
Yeah, point at you. I don't want to hang out with certain people. No, you know, I think that it's just
No,
it's tricky to navigate that, you know, when you're on your own. Whereas like if you do have really good parents, like you know, I mean, they navigated a lot of that for me.
Right.
Still, even there's stuff that they wish they, you know, probably I didn't see, you know, where you're like, that's inappropriate or this is inappropriate. But at the same time, you know, they did a really good job preparing me and a really good job steering me away.
Absolutely. You know, we're about to go on a quick break, but this is why I love bringing you on my podcast, on my radio shows, and just hanging out with you in general, because first of all, you're a good person. You've been in this industry for a while, and you haven't gone crazy, you know, or some...
A
little bit. Hey, real talk.
Yeah.
You've had your ups and downs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But you're heading upwards, which
Yeah.
I am. It makes me happy to see that, brother.
Thank you.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I hope it continues on that way. And it just seems like every time we talk or hang out, you have more awareness. More good things are happening to you. Could our careers be in better places? Of course, that's anybody's career.
Of course, but you know, it's all how you frame it too.
You've got the right mind and mindset, which I think is so important for people to hear. And I appreciate you sharing all this so people can develop their awareness more in a positive light, and they can learn from the stuff that you've experienced as well, because I think that's crucial, especially for young artists in this industry. You like what we said about who you surround yourself with is so critical. I mean, the two people in this room who handle the production stuff of the show, there's a reason they're working on this show. It's not by accident or circumstance, you know? We share that same kind of mindset, that same kind of tenacity, that same kind of attention to detail. Otherwise, I wouldn't want to work with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll be right back. You know, Mr. Lipnicki,
Yes,
I have a analogy for life.
you do.
And I hesitated right
Yeah.
before I said analogy because I couldn't remember if it was analogy or metaphor.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with analogy because I'm there already and I committed. Life is, for me, I imagine it sometimes as an ultra marathon. And sometimes you're running through these beautiful green, grassy fields and it's beautifully sunny out. It's not too hot. Other times you're running through a desert and it's so hot you don't know where you are. Sometimes you're wading through a swamp. You're lost in life. Other times you've set a way marker on top of a mountain, a goal you want to reach, and you're climbing up that mountain or you're on a trail to get up there. And I think it's so important for us whenever we encounter these quote-unquote negative things that happen to us to put these like red flag markers on the way and be like, hey, watch out, guys. You know, or you see somebody who's lower on the path. Hey, heads up. There's this broken tree branch and you got to watch out for that. The ground's not too good here. Be careful. I think that's so critical.
Yeah.
That way something good can come out of something negative.
Mm-hmm.
There's that silver lining that happens out of that. Also, an important thing that I try to get from this analogy is the fact that sometimes bad luck happens. For instance, you're running on this trail and whoopsh, a branch smacks you in the face.
Yeah.
Or you trip over a rock. Are you just going to stand there and yell at the rock and complain that the rock hit your foot, or are you going to keep going? Mm-hmm. And I think that's very important in life. What are you going to do when something bad happens to you?
Yeah.
Are you going to sit there and complain all the time? Are you going to sit there and whine about it, or are you just going to keep going, move forward?
Yeah.
So, again, appreciate you sharing all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
man.
I feel like it's like, dude, it's if I give you $10, here's another not.
Oh, great. Analogy show.
Okay, analogy show. If I give you $10 and I said, wait a minute, I need one of those back. I grab one. Are you gonna focus on the one I took back or the $9 I gave you?
I'm going to focus on the one you took back.
Like,
I'm kidding. No,
yeah,
I
but
feel
you know,
you.
it's just, it's all about how, you know, as stupid as it, you know, they always say 10%, you know, what happens to you, 90% how you react to it. I do believe that though.
Yeah.
And I think that as much as these things are trite and they're said all the time, they're true. You know, it's about how you frame it. I have certain friends who, like, the littlest thing will happen, and then, life, man, it's not fair, and this and that and this, and then guess what? More negative things keep snowballing for them. Whereas, like, I've had people who, like, will go through something and they'll be like, yeah, I'm going through this stuff right now, but I'm going to deal with it. And, yeah, I can feel my feelings. There's nothing wrong with feeling your feelings, being like, this is sad, this hurts me. But then finding a plan of action, how to continue on.
Yeah. Something happened to me last night, and I'm glad I'm in a positive mindset, or else I would have lost it.
Yeah.
Ordered from Postmates.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about showing this guy's face, but I'm just going to show you.
Yeah.
Just because I don't want to get sued. But you know what?
Yeah.
He messed up. He took my order home. This guy right here.
Yeah.
By the way, horrible picture to post on Postmates for you as the delivery guy driver. Is that your mugshot, sir?
Yeah, it looks so serious.
Looks so serious? He just murdered somebody, Jonathan.
Yeah, he did.
Ordered from Chipotle.
Yeah.
Great. Excited. Thankful I have money to order from Chipotle. All that stuff. Good. Great. Order is on its way. Should be there in 2 minutes. Cool. Waiting for my phone to ring so that the gate will open. Didn't open. Open my Postmates app. It's like, your order's been delivered. Would you like to tip your driver? I'm like, huh? Did he leave it on the front door? Yeah. No, he didn't, sir.
Yeah.
He drove away.
He ate
He
it.
took my order away.
How was their customer service about that?
So quickly.
Yeah.
So I was like, I reported it immediately. They give me an immediate credit for Postmates. So I'm like, all right, I'll
Good job,
get
Postmates.
good job. I was like, you know what? I have to wait a little longer for my food, and I'm still angry at this gentleman, but at least I'm getting my food back.
Exactly.
And did it take all the self-control in my body to do that? Yes.
Yeah.
And I was hungry. I was hangry,
Yeah.
Jonathan. What I'm saying is with this ridiculous story
Yeah.
is that it takes practice, and that was a good practice moment for me.
Exactly. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, I'm still a little bitter about it, though.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect.
It's-
See,
well,
I'm
also,
not.
you're not-
I'm working on myself
Yeah,
here,
but
Jonathan.
that's the point, though. Is man, I mean, we're all, and not to say it in a, not like okay, I'll try to phrase this right. We're all a little bit of a mess. It's about it's about what we're fixing, what we're working on. Like you're talking about the ultra marathon. For me, every year, I'm like, man, like I'm glad I learned this. Wow, I would have totally handled this situation differently 2 years ago or a year ago. There are a lot of things I've run into this year that I felt derailed me a few years ago, and then they were just a bump for me now.
Yeah.
And, dude, no one's perfect. We all have our stuff. It's just about how you deal with it.
I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
I'm getting there to be perfect.
You're getting there?
Yeah.
You're aiming?
It would have been there last night if it wasn't for the
Perfect's
Chipotle
boring,
guy.
though. Perfect is boring. You gotta be you gotta be a human being, man. Gotta be a human being with opinions and be willing to be wrong
dude.
in order to learn
Dude, you should
the
have
most
seen.
out of life.
You should have seen my face
Yeah.
whenever I was like, "Oh, my food's not here," and it's asking me to tip him.
Yeah. How dare they?
So angry. What
That's
else
why
is
you want to learn jujitsu now is you want to go find this guy.
Dude, I screenshotted his photo. Like I was gonna
will find you.
find him on Facebook.
Yeah.
Dude, and Matt, oh man. Oh, This is another thing. Okay, we were positive too much. Now we're going to talk about no. I don't like, and I don't know people's circumstances. What's going on? The person delivering my food is a chick, right? On the app, it shows a picture of a chick. The guy who's giving me my food, it's a male.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, wait a minute. You con artist or criminal?
Is this fraudulent in some weird way? Or you're
right?
using your
Immediately in my
girlfriend's
mind, I'm like, wait a minute. Or they're like a couple and they need the extra money and so they're working together. That's the only, and they have one car. See, then my mind goes the Buddhist way, like maybe it's a really good scenario.
Yeah.
And I have to keep thinking about that scenario or otherwise I go crazy with the other one. I'm not going to report him. Do I want to? Yes.
Yeah, but
I'm not.
Yeah, he feels a little, like, what's going on here?
Like, hey,
What's going on here?
is it? This is not you.
Yeah.
You're not Samantha.
Yeah.
You look like a Derek.
Yeah.
Anyway. I'm ridiculous. I am aware of this. This is what goes on in my mind. It's a constant dichotomy. It's a constant, like, white and dark forces.
Yeah.
Grrr. Anyway.
Fair enough.
Oof, I just got pumped up from my Postmates incident. You could tell it's still
Yeah,
resonating.
It's still resonating. Man, now I
Still
know
raw.
I know what you're
is.
using next time you have like an emotional scene on your show.
Or I'm
Use that
rolling
for-
with you Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Like,
You just hear, you keep hearing me say like, Postmates guy. You're like, whoa.
Trying to choke
whoa,
me. Yeah.
whoa. Wesam.
Yeah.
You're working on a short.
I finished a short.
Finished a short.
With the amazing playwright Teresa Rebeck. She's awesome. She created Smash, the TV show. She got introduced through a friend, and she wrote me a short, and I made it. And we're looking for the right place to premiere that. I also just finished a feature film called Broil, which I was doing in Vancouver.
Food related as well?
Also food related, weirdly. It's funny how these things kind of come. You know, if I didn't do the cooking show, I wouldn't know how to. I play a chef in Broil. I wouldn't know certain things that I was able to use. So there you go.
That's awesome, man.
Universe working in my favor.
You shot it in Vancouver?
Yeah, love Vancouver.
Almost got to work there, and I was more bummed that I wouldn't be able to see Vancouver and like than the actual job. But like
It's
I was like,
great.
oh,
I love
I know.
Vancouver, and I'm a dual citizen.
what?
Yeah,
You are a dual citizen.
yeah.
Wow. So
Yeah.
you pay dual taxes. No? Maybe. Okay, that was too much. Okay. We'll just say yeah. We'll just say
Let's not talk about that. I heard the T word. Don't bring up the T word in my positivity bubble.
Well, that might be the trailer for our show.
Yeah, yeah. Nobody likes taxes. I'm just focusing on more work. I didn't think about taxes. I'm like, you know what? More opportunities to do what I love, not more opportunity to pay taxes.
Dude, when we finish the show, I'll tell you how much I paid in taxes this year. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you would have been surprised by my reaction. I just go, okay, well, there's nothing I can do about it.
Exactly.
I have a great tax person and a great bookkeeper, and there's no way around it. However, when I found out how much Amazon paid in taxes last year,
That made you angry. I'm sure.
you know how much it was?
0.
Yes! Daddy was angry.
Yeah.
Daddy was angry. Now, was that the largest check I've ever written in my life?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I find out Amazon, well, I love Amazon.
Yeah.
Paid 0?
It's messed up, man.
They know the system. Well, that's fine. I'm gonna work the system. I'm looking right into the camera. Not sure which one we're using. So we got dual cameras. That one.
Dual cameras, dual citizen.
Hey, Uncle Sam. I'm gonna use your system. I'm a crazy person.
This gets brought up. This
person.
clip gets brought up in some tax evasion
Right.
thing in 20 years.
Right, I'm like,
see, he
ooh.
said he was going to do it. You just didn't listen.
It was a
carefully.
joke.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's something you can't do anything about it. I'm
No,
just happy
it's
for
true.
more work.
I know that,
You know,
absolutely.
happy. It's nice also to get out of the monotony of LA. You know,
Yeah.
just like sometimes you're like, I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to the same coffee bean every day. Then boom, I'm in Vancouver for a month.
That's the
Not
awesome
knowing
part about our
anybody is
job.
awesome.
Dude, we are so lucky.
So lucky.
to be working actors because it is that thing, man. It's feast or famine. It really is. However, when it's famine, dude, those are great times to experience life.
Exactly.
It feeds into your acting because you can't be just an actor who goes to acting class every week and then that's
Yeah.
it.
Do find
What?
stuff to do. Go to museums. Different hobbies I think are so important.
Yes.
Traveling. even just taking day trips, finding things to do that you know aren't acting related. I mean, man, I got a little frustrated, and I just didn't turn it into bitterness. Before I got that movie, I think I was pinned for like 4 shows in a row, and didn't get any of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I'm getting so close. I'm like, And then, you know, one was definitely a big heartbreak for me because I really wanted it. And I gave myself a day to mourn it. I was like, I'm going to feel bad about it for this day. Just be like, okay, eat some food, Postmates, some food. And get it, not have them take it. And then, you know, I turned it into a positive. I was like, look how far you come, dude. You weren't always getting, you know, there was a long period where I wasn't getting pinned for anything, even getting close to that. And I just kept pushing, man. And then you know what happened when I got the movie? I sobbed. I cried because I was just so happy. It was something I actually really, really wanted. Mm-hmm. I didn't think it was going to go my way. It happened. So grateful.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is it's just, you know, you have times when it feels like, oh, you can't not work. You're doing well. You're everything's connecting. Everything's firing. And then there's times where it's like, maybe you're not even getting the opportunities to work. But you know what? That's when you explore other things in life and also at the same time make your own opportunities. This short was something that I worked on for a long time, you know, before we even shot it. And I got to work with an amazing producer, amazing writer, amazing actress, amazing director. And honestly, it's all about how you frame things. Yeah, it's one feature and it's a short. And the feature isn't a huge, you know, a Marvel movie or anything. But dude, for me, right now, life is great. Life is amazing, and I'm not going to quantify it like that. It's not going, oh, well, I wish it was a studio film or whatever. No, dude. I got to go play for a month and do a crazy role. I got to do this short with a playwright who I've done her scenes from her plays and classes. Wow. You know, and then I get to work with that person. Like, that's what this is about.
Yeah.
You know, the other stuff's just cherry on top. Mm-hmm. I want a series. That's my goal right now. And I will get a series, definitely, you know, because there's no room to not think to think I won't, you know. But until then, I'm going to be happy. And I'm going to focus on things that make me happy. And I'm going to work whether someone else is hiring me or not.
That's such a great mindset and an important one to have in this type of industry and in life in general, man. I mean, what is the alternative? You're going to say, maybe, well, if I don't think this is going to happen. Yeah. I'm telling you, man, the way you think manifests into your life. Yeah. 100%.
You know, it was really inspiring seeing you, man. Like, you're someone I think of when I think of, like, when you went through that 2016 where, like, you were testing for everything.
You know, it's funny. I wasn't I tested a little bit. I was getting close to a lot of things, man.
Yeah, I felt like you were just always, and I'm like, this kid's, it's going to happen. And then when I saw you got something, I was like, oh, well, it's going to happen for him.
So just to clarify, 2015, not a lot of work. Yeah. Actually, no work.
Yeah.
And then 2016, booked a pilot, didn't go through.
Yeah.
Booked another pilot after that. Excuse me. After I booked the pilot, after I found it didn't go through. That was the first day in LA. I was like, maybe I don't want to do this anymore.
Wow.
It was the first time I ever thought about quitting.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the amount of hoops I had to jump through just to get that. I mean, it's, as an actor, you're lucky to get a pilot audition for a series regular. Yeah. Extremely lucky. After going through the main audition phase, you have to hope that you get a callback with the producers, right? And then from there, if they like you, they're like, hey, we want to test him, correct?
Yeah. Yes. And sometimes even there's a producer's work session jammed in between that.
Exactly.
Or a callback, like you might pre-read and then have B-tape. Chemistry. And then have then have producers, then have like a chemistry or producer's work session.
Read. Exactly.
There could be 5 auditions on the way to getting it.
Absolutely. And then you have to hope that, well, I hope they haven't offered this to somebody already and they're just waiting to hear back from the offer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then if you book it, the first table read, pray you don't get recast.
Oh, that happens all the time.
When my agent told me that, I didn't know that until right before the table read. I was like, or right before I went to shoot, I was like, what do you mean they can recast you from that? He's like, yeah. So just, you'll be fine, but just
be prepared.
Yeah, be prepared if that happens. Like, oh my God. First table read, finally go. I'm like, okay, good, I'm safe. We start filming, and I'm like, good, I'm still in it. And then after the pilot shot, somebody told me like, and then I think it was my agent, is like, sometimes they recast roles, just so you know, if it gets picked up. And I was like, what? And then you have to hope you don't get recast. Then you have to hope the pilot gets picked up.
Yeah.
And then when it wasn't picked up, after going through all those hoops, I'm like, I'm back at square one. And on top of all the personal stuff that was going on with me at the time.
Yeah.
It was so devastating to me. It was the first time I felt that low. I remember talking on the phone with my mom and being like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. And she kind of like was talking positive with me. Next morning I wake up and I was like, well, that was, I don't want to ever say that. What the hell was I thinking?
Yeah.
I was upset with myself. And that's when I really turned it up a notch with the acting and stuff.
And what were your steps for that? So just, I mean, for me also, but for your listeners, what is turning it up a notch for you mean?
Cool. When I woke up, I was like, that's not me.
Yeah.
That kind of mindset. I don't like the way I felt yesterday. That defeat.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to stay in that mentality. So I really broke it down. Okay, what can I control? Because I just saw what I can't control.
Yeah.
And it was really simple. How good of an actor can I be?
Yeah.
I was like, cool. So I remember that quote.
Yeah.
And I was like, so good they can't ignore you anymore. I'm like,
Yeah.
awesome. I am working on acting every single day from now on. And I'm going to get so good that they're going to go, he's not right for the part, but there's another role for him, or we have to have this, we have to write a role for him, or he's right for this role. That's what it is from now on.
Yeah.
My friend Isaiah, I couldn't remember. Did we do it before Zubiquity or after Zubiquity? Anyway, I was doing my Sunday class with him, my friend Isaiah, every Sunday morning. Give each other cold reading scenes, working on top of everything else I was doing every day.
Yeah.
Eventually, I booked a pilot as a guest star on Chicago Justice, and then from that point on, I kept working on acting every day. Did a short film in December, and then in February or January, I booked For the People.
Yeah.
But in between them, I have a great agent, Joseph Lee. Shout out to Joseph Lee.
Oh, I know Jolie.
Yeah.
Jolie's great.
An amazing human being, an amazing mentor
Works
and
so
agent.
hard.
Nobody works harder than him in this industry. No joke.
Yeah.
He was getting me out all the time, and my manager at Stagecoach, Steve Smith. Shout out to Steve Smith, great management company.
Don't know Steve, but shout out to you, Steve.
Steve Smith.
Yeah.
And I remember going, they're like, you got really close. The casting loves you. Casting really loves you. I'm like, you know what? I said it in a nice way, of course, but like, I don't care anymore if they love me. I just want to know if I booked the role, because that's all I care about at this point. I know I'm bringing in the best work possible, so I'm kind of getting frustrated with it. And towards like For the People, I remember talking to them, being like, I'm getting frustrated, but they kept reassuring me like, hey, just keep doing what you're doing and you will book.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right.
Cool.
Every day, dude. Every day training. I wanted to go in there being, nope, you can't do what I'm about to do.
Yeah.
It was like that kind of intensity.
Yeah.
Like, when you spar,
Yeah.
it wasn't like, it was like this actually, never mind. I was like, I'm going to destroy the competition in this room. That was my goal.
Interesting.
And I would listen to the most pumped up music going in there. Never nervous going into an audition. Just really pumped, excited to show casting what I got. And it was awesome because I would go into auditions being like, I'm doing my thing.
Yeah.
Bye. I stopped. I remember I did something in a, here it was. It was for Dear White People. I was going in for a role. And it was last minute. And I was in a room most echoey room in the world. Imagine doing a scene and it's just echoing.
I hate that.
Dude, I said 5 words and I'm like, I'm sorry. It is so echoey in here. Like taking control of that room, and casting was like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I know, I'm sorry. It really threw me off. Let me start again. And that little thing, I know it doesn't sound for non-actors like a big thing, but to stop the audition and start again without being nervous or upset with yourself, that's a level of confidence I think all actors need to do when they're in the room.
Exactly.
Yeah. Got way too pumped up with that conversation.
No, that's great, man. Like I was telling you about how I listened to Win by J-Rock.
Yeah.
Get out the way. Get out the way.
I listened to like Devil Wears Prada,
Yeah.
August Burns Red. Yeah, like double bass.
Yeah.
I'm going in there imagining I'm fighting demons with
Yeah.
a sword, okay? Because I'm crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, see, mine, for some reason, I've tried that. That's not my flavor. I have to get extremely happy. And then I go in, obviously based on the role too.
Yeah.
But there's even a weird happiness that comes with knowing that, like, I'm doing something messed up, like doing a darker role.
So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I forgot to hit the main point of it. The motivation behind all that was I want to take care of my family.
Yeah.
And that was the fire.
Yeah.
So it was like for family,
Yeah.
for family every time.
Yeah.
So that's what
Oh,
really
cool.
drove it in there.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like hearing that. That's great. I mean, to anyone listening, what I'm doing after this, I'm gonna go rehearse with my scene partner for a few
Awesome.
hours from acting class. And my scene partner from acting class is series regular, and they're not shooting right now.
Great.
It's you start to notice there's a common thread with people who are doing really well and achieving the dreams they want to achieve, and you see that there is so much work behind it. People always want to glamorize this overnight success thing, but I don't really think I've ever met someone who's truly an overnight success. It's always someone who's like, yeah, something great happened, but like one way or another, there was a lot of work behind it.
I'll tell you this. I have met an overnight success.
Really?
And what happened was once that project was over, it went really downhill for them career-wise.
Because he didn't have probably the chops to back it up, huh?
No
Like they got
chops,
that
no
big opportunity.
foundation.
Yeah.
Everything was given to them.
Yeah.
They went down hard, man. Hard. And they made negative impacts on certain people in the industry.
Can't do
and
that.
then because they would come in unprepared.
Yeah.
And now they have to start from square one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, be a good person. I don't know if we outlined that enough. Is be someone that people want to work with.
Absolutely.
Be a collaborator. Be a cool person. You don't have to be.
Yeah.
For some reason, young actors sometimes get in their head that they have to be like a diva to be cool. No, that's the worst thing you can possibly be. Be a person who's there to work. Be a professional. Like we both have talked about the war of art.
yeah.
Talks about being a professional a lot and how a professional approaches things. Approach things like a professional. Go in there and do the damn thing.
Yeah.
And
Dude, Jolie.
Don't complain, you
Joe, literally what you said, Jolie would be like, hey, just keep your head down, go to work, and then go home.
exactly.
I was like, that's the best piece of advice.
Yeah.
And, dude, I would do that, and I would notice very positive results from it.
Exactly. Because it's fulfilling. The work in itself, if you really put the work into the work,
Dude, that's
it's
what
the
matters.
most fulfilling. It's the most fulfilling thing.
Dude,
I go home and I'm like, sometimes I can't sleep because I'm so happy because I've worked, and I was like, yes, 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 and I feel like exhausted, but yet I have that wired side of my mind where I'm like, I had such a good time living my damn dream today.
Right? Dude, the best days of my life, I'm coming home from a 16-hour day.
Yeah.
I've been working all day long. I'm mentally and physically exhausted.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, those are the best night's sleep of my life.
Yeah.
Putting my head down and having to wake up super early again. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And then coming ready to work.
Yeah.
Ready to play with my other actors and professionals on set. I'm telling you, this show, For the People, the one I'm
Yeah.
on, why it's so, one of the reasons it's so amazing, everybody brings their A game,
Yeah.
the writing, the performance, and also the crew, man.
Yeah.
Such professionals. So it just gets you excited,
Yeah.
you know? You're working with masters all around
Yeah.
you. So you're like, boom, I got to bring in my A plus game.
Exactly.
Can you imagine, like, if you got to roll with, like, Jean-Jacques Machado
Yeah.
constantly?
Yeah.
Like, how much would you learn?
Exactly. I mean, it's that's what you should hope for is to go against people who really go with people who up your game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I've been lucky enough to see both sides of it, and it's very true about that whole thing. Is like I've seen people who've been a product of the hype machine, you know, and maybe not. I wouldn't still call it an overnight success, but very much a product of the hype machine, but couldn't back it up once they had the opportunities to.
Yeah.
Because it's still competitive regardless of whatever level you're at. You
Yeah.
know, like there's still like even if you're at that, because like I think that's the problem is we all get in this. I had a friend who was getting in this state recently where he was like, oh, well, this person kind of like almost like looking at other people's backyard, being like, I think this person kind of like, well, you know, they probably didn't have to read for this. They probably got offered it. And I was like, no, they didn't.
How do you know that?
How do you know that? You can't make rules for other people's backyard of what flowers they're growing, you know, unless you've seen it and been like, oh, these are the flowers they're growing, you know? Like, you know, you can't make up these rules, you know? It's everybody at a certain point is just, and a lot of people are putting on, you know, with Instagram, that's the biggest negative thing about like social media is people look like they're happier than they are, more successful than they are. Focus on your trail that you're running, or you're going to trip and roll your ankle, you know?
Exactly.
You know?
We're going to take a quick break, and then we will actually wrap it up here with you, if that's cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. Jonathan.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, there you are.
We're back.
We're back.
I'm over here. Haven't moved.
We're going to wrap this up soon.
Okay.
But before we end, what's your favorite color? No, I'm kidding. Could you imagine that?
Blue. I like blue.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Blue's a good color.
It's a great color.
Yeah.
Makes me happy.
Question. With jiu-jitsu,
Mm-hmm.
do you know when you're going to get your black belt, or it just happens?
It just happens. It's kind of like you've reached a certain level in their mind. It's up to the discretion of the teacher.
Nice.
And how, especially, you know, how you're performing in free training.
Yeah. I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, you know, I'm one of those people. I'm not concerned about it.
Yeah.
You know, some people are like, they're so anxious to get the next belt. I'm just happy to be there every day.
And that's
Plus,
the
there's so
difference.
much pressure with having a black belt too. Like
What do you mean?
I feel like, you know, like people are out to kill you. You know, like, they wanna tap a black belt. You know, but I don't know. I just want to learn. There's so much more to learn.
Yes.
Like I feel like with a sport like jiu-jitsu, it's also developing very quickly, and there's just weird stuff that is always being just worked on, and like there's certain things I always want to work on, and I mean, much like acting, much like anything, but I just am like, man, I'm just happy to be here right now doing this with my friends, and I've made a lot of great friends with, you know, people there that are non-industry related friends are a healthy thing to have. I think that the problem is some people just make themselves hang out with people who are doing the same exact thing, and that can be a breeding ground for negativity.
Yeah.
You know, also depending on who you're hanging out with, but have normal friends.
Absolutely.
Or not, you know, who do other things with their life.
That's great.
So
I really appreciate. What's that?
looking at the similarity between you and the.
It's
really
pretty
great.
good.
It's really
Actually,
good. Yeah, you have to look off. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's good.
Good, dude. Brother, thank you so much for coming
Thanks for
on.
having me. People out there, stay positive. If you want something in this life, you can get it. Just put the work behind it. Be humble. You know, and show up prepared.
We got to have you back on soon.
Thank you.
Whenever you want.
This is fun, man. I love talking. I loved hearing about how you turned it up. It's always interesting to see what people are doing right and has worked for them. And congratulations on everything with your show.
Thank you, man.
Mazel tov a million times over. Love you. Thank you for having me.
Dude, congratulations. Thank you. And really excited to see the Food Network thing April 21st.
It's really fun, you know.
Yeah,
I mess up a lot, so you guys are going to laugh at me. It's all
Dude,
good.
I actually, I'll be in Japan at that time, so I'll have to like DVR it.
Yeah, you're going.
Yeah, but I'm really excited to see it. And
Yeah.
when I see it, I'm going to be like Instagram storying all of it.
Oh no, I don't
And
know
I'd
if
be
I'll
like-
watch it. I was so hyped up on coffee the whole time. I'm like, I probably said some really goofy, stupid things that I'm like, ugh, I'm a little bit nervous. So I was like, because one of the
No,
other
it'll
guys
be
from the
fine.
show was like, let's watch it together. I'm like, let's not. I was there. Yeah.
Mr. Michael, let's play us out. Hey, thank you, everybody, for listening to the show. Thank you to our subscribers, our new listeners. Thank you to Adobe Radio, Nice Guy Digital. Thank you to you, Michael.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Peyton.
Yes.
Yes, Peyton almost didn't speak. He's so focused on his iPad. That's okay. He's working. Thank you, Steph. Thank you to all you lovely listeners again. And thank you to Jonathan for coming on the show. Lipnicki, you can find him on all the Instagram and social medias, I believe.
Yes.
Great.
Jonathan Lipnicki on Instagram, Jay Lipnicki on Twitter. I should have never made it different.
Yeah.
But, and a Facebook, Jonathan Lipnicki.
Awesome. Trying to remember if there's anything else I should say. I was just waiting for that part. That's one of my favorite parts of the song. Hey,
Yeah.
always remember to listen, think, and then talk.